Dry Creek, a town that don't forget easy, but forgives even slower. Every July they polish their boots, hang the flags, and drink to the memory of Clay Maddox's fastest gun alive, so they say. But legends fade like paint on saloon doors. And tonight, a writer's coming home, not for a drink, but for judgment. 8 years of trail dust clung to Elias Maddox when he rode back through that canyon light. Last time he saw this place, his brother was still breathing, still lying, and still loved by everyone who didn't know better. He came back for one thing, to find the man who killed Clay Maddox. The horse stopped before the saloon. Elias swung down slow, tied the reins, and stood a moment, feeling the town's eyes through the curtains. He pushed the doors open. Whiskey smoke and silence met him. And there, above the mirror, hung Clay's portrait, smiling like sin painted in oil. He dropped a single bullet on the counter. "Whiskey," he said. "And a name." No one answered, but whispers moved through the room like wind through tall grass. Upstairs, behind lace curtains, a lantern burned. A woman's shadow shifted in the glow. Mara, the saloon's keeper now, once Clay Maddox's. She came down slow, quiet as confession. When she saw Elias, the glass slipped from her hand and shattered. "You shouldn't have come back," she said. "I came for the man who killed my brother." Her gaze hardened, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "The man you're looking for ain't far," she whispered, "but you won't like what you find." Elias looked at her, then really looked. Same hair Clay used to brag about, same eyes that once made men promise too much. Only now they were tired, hollowed by years and guilt. Something inside him shifted, a warmth he didn't expect, tangled with anger he couldn't name. She poured him another drink, hand shaking. "Clay used to talk about you," she said softly. "He said you were the only man who could outright him." Elias smiled without humor. "He said a lot of things." That night the wind led him to the graveyard behind the chapel. A single wooden cross stood under the stars, a hat nailed to it, a wildflower fading in the dust. Elias knelt. "Couldn't stay honest, could you, brother?" he murmured. Memory came in flashes, two boys racing horses, laughing, sharing the same blood and the same stubborn pride. One always faster, one always steadier. Pride turned that bond into fire, and fire into ashes. When he rose, lantern light flickered in the distance, the barn outside town. Mara had told him, voice barely above prayer, "If you must find him, he'll be there." Her eyes said something else entirely, "Don't go." The hammer of a forge beat slow in the dark, like a heartbeat with too much regret. Jonas Reed, the blacksmith, stood by the anvil. The orange glow carved lines across his worn face. "I figured you'd come," he said, not turning. Elias stepped closer, boots grinding gravel. "You killed my brother." Jonas set the hammer down. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I did." The words hung like smoke. "You want the truth?" Jonas asked, "or just a reason to shoot?" Elias's hand trembled near his gun. "Talk." Jonas looked into the fire. "Clay came at me that night. Drunk. Said if he couldn't have her, no man would. He drew first. He swallowed hard. I drew last." Elias stared, disbelief twisting through him. "You expect me to believe that?" Jonas met his eyes. "I expect you to believe he wasn't the man you remember." The forge cracked, sparks flaring. Elias lowered the gun. His brother's smile from the portrait flashed in his mind, now a lie made of oil and smoke. He left the barn without a word. Outside, the moonlight was cold and clean. The desert wind tasted of iron and sorrow. Mara stood by the fence, lantern in hand. She must have followed the sound of the forge. Her hair moved in the wind like flame. He wasn't all bad, she said softly. But he wasn't all good either. None of us are. Elias looked at her, the lantern light between them. For a heartbeat, the world went still, the kind of silence that feels like mercy. You loved him, he said. I still do, she whispered. Then, after a long pause, but I think I was meant to love you different, the way a wound loves the knife that made it. He tipped his hat, eyes low. No goodbye, she asked. Some things don't need words, he said, voice breaking a little. Dawn crawled over Dry Creek, pale and forgiving. Elias rode out slow, leaving two sets of ghosts behind, one under the earth, one behind the bar. He didn't find revenge, he found truth, and it hurt worse. At the saloon, Mara watched from the doorway. The light caught the tears on her face and made them shine like morning dew on old dust. Elias left one bullet on the counter before he'd gone, the same one he'd brought for the man who killed his brother. It lay there now, gleaming like an unspoken prayer. Some graves don't need flowers. They need forgiveness. And some loves ain't meant to heal, just to remind a man he's still alive. Some tales don't end, they ride on. Hit the like button, subscribe and join the trail for the next chapter of Tales of the Wild West.